sheet now for in the back. Yeah. Anyone need that source sheet? Yeah, the Kosher Hoofs. Yeah, I'll explain the title in a minute. The recording's on. Where's the? I guess it's on. Yeah. Here's the recording. We're on. Okay. Hope this year won't be as confusing as the last.
It was very useful.
Okay.
It's always been a surprise.
Okay. I'm picked this year because I like the title. Because I came up with the title thanks to Danielle. What the lady who runs the program, Daniela something? I don't think of her, but she always asks for the titles like 2 weeks before. So I got look at what week is it and come up with the title. So I wanted to talk about there's 2 big stories in Parshat Mishpatim that without them you can't understand the story of the golden calf. That's the goal of this year. So when we read the story of the golden calf, we're confused. What I want to share with you now is that to appreciate the story of the golden calf with all of its complexities, you have to begin in Parshat Mishpatim. That's the goal this year. If it'll help, I'm not sure. We'll find out. But what I want to share with you today is I want to show you there's certain things, in my opinion, that you can only understand what happens with the golden calf story once you've read Parshat Mishpatim and take it into account. Now, before we begin, I want to share with you, which you probably all agree with me, when you study the story of the golden calf, you're stuck no matter what. Why? Because if they did mamash idol worship, IDOL, it doesn't make any sense. Why not? What? They just got out of Egypt. They just saw God. They split the sea. They believe in God. It says so. Now, to really think that after all that happened, that this little cow they just made out of gold took him out of Egypt, it's just, why would I punish him? We punish him for that worse than Tinok Shanishba. It's like, it just wouldn't make any sense for people really to believe that little piece of gold they just made took him out of Egypt. Agreed? Yes. Now, if the way most Parshim explain that Aaron who makes Aaron idea to make the calf, if it's simply a symbol of the God who took him out of Egypt, why does God want to kill? Why is God so harsh? Why is God so angry and raged just to wipe them all out? Just kill everybody, like another flood story, just because of a misunderstanding of something.
Well, they're worshiping it.
What?
Aren't they worshiping this golden calf?
But if this calf represents the God who took him out of Egypt, that's what we do.
No, but there are 2 psukim, lo yelecha, and then it says lo taselecha pesel. So you lo yelecha, they never violate, but they did violate the second.
But maybe they had a good lawyer who said that means we thought a pesel of another God, but not of our God.
No, the court setting didn't set up yet. They're an old way.
That Jewish, there's no Jewish lawyers? The people, Jewish, they're born Jewish. What?
Unless you go back.
We'll see in a minute. Moshe will be the Jewish lawyer.
Then things would be out of sequence because you told them to set up courts.
Yeah, they are out of sequence, according to Rashi. Remember, it's after Yom Kippur, the courts. Yeah.
But I always ask the question, were they worshiping a calf made out of gold, or were they worshiping the gold in the form of a calf?
Yeah, it depends if they were living in America. But, that was nice. Okay. No, I just brought the question to show you either way we're stuck. Because it can't be they believe that the calf is a different God. It makes more sense the calf represents our God, but then it's a misdemeanor, not a felony, if you understand what the words are. And then why is God so angry for a misdemeanor? An understandable misdemeanor. Now, so what I want to try to share with you today is how what we learned today will explain, I think, and a warning, you might not like my conclusion. Okay? It's just a little warning. You'll see why. It might be politically charged. Okay? And that'll keep you awake maybe. Now, how are we going to start? This is rough. So I told you we'll start with discussion about there's idol worship and idol worship. Okay? Idol worship is IDOL. That's the second commandment. You can't. But basically, the first 2 statements in the 10 statements, what we call the 10 commandments, are basically it's a contract between 2 parties, and the opening statement is I'm your boss, and that's why I took you out of Egypt, and you can't work for anybody else. No moonlighting. And if I catch you working for anybody else, boy, you're in trouble. Do a good job for me, I'll reward you, but you're exclusive to me. And then don't carry my name in vain because you've chosen to make my name great. And then a weekly reminder of the covenant, Shabbat, it's an oath brit. and then keeping tradition going, honoring tradition and parents, and then the core values of what do you call it? The universal idea, so no killing, stealing, and then for the Jewish people, don't even think about it. That's the contract. Then we get some more laws, etc. Parshat Mishpatim. Now, so right after we have this vision of God, actually this is sort of Parshat Mishpatim, at the end of Sefer Yitro, listen to the first commandment that we get through Moshe right after the Ten Commandments. In Parshat Mishpatim, but right before Parshat Mishpatim. Let's read it again carefully. Okay? In Parak Chaf, right after the Ten Commandments, we read it already today, I want to read it again. Parak Chaf Pasuk Yotet. In Shemot. Vayomer Hashem el Moshe, Kol tomar b'nei Yisrael, atem ritem ki minashmaim dibarti machem. Because you saw at Har Sinai, I spoke to you from heaven. You know I exist, you know I talk. You can hear my voice, whatever that means. Okay? Now, let me share with you an example I use with my 18-year-olds. In every gap year program, at the end of the year, the group may have a sweatshirt. Don't they? And without being a Navi, it's going to happen no matter what, isn't it? And no one 18-year-old coming to Israel needs a sweatshirt. They have 20 at home in their closet, don't they? Right? What do they need? They need a symbol of the year of their experience, right? When people experience something, I need something. People are like, Machmer, you go to a wedding. Remember the wedding? There for sure wasn't enough food at the wedding, so you had food to take home with you, and a little special, you have a bencher. The old days, now you have, a trophy or something. But we make objects to remember events. They're called rings, necklaces. Runs a jewelry business and keeps yeshiva supported. But that's human nature. Again, you need physical objects to remember things. What's God afraid of? In fact, there will be a mitzvah later on in Devarim. Don't forget what happened at Har Sinai. You have to remember it every day of your life. How am I going to remember it? Let's make something to remember it. So because we had this tremendous experience, God's worried, don't make out of me a golden image. That's not idol worship. That's God's worried. That's a sweatshirt. That's what I call. It'll turn into idol worship. Because what will happen? That object representing God becomes so important to you. You'll think it has magic powers, and you'll start. Let's say something goes wrong in your house. You say, "Oh, maybe my business is puzzle." You'll think these objects that represent your connection to God have superpowers. You believe in the power of God, but all of a sudden these objects that were originally made to represent God have their own existence. They have their own power. And that's what happens. I wish it wasn't true, but that happens all the time. I can bring examples from life. I'm sure you're all familiar. That these, what's called, not minutiae, what's them?
Amulets?
No, amulets and things like that. You have to take this amulet and wear it. It'll give you like a good luck charm and things like that. It's human nature. What can you do? And then I can make a symbol of God to remember who this God is, but the fear is the symbol becomes a God. And then ruins the core relationship with God that it was supposed to represent. Got the idea?
But they're all over Torah Shabbat Peh. And in the Gemara, you read about amulets all the time.
Are the rabbis happy about them or not? You can't get rid of them because humans are humans. You follow? Now deal with it. Same thing with slavery. It's not good, but it's going to be there. Now, how do you deal with it? So you warn, be careful of it. But you're right. How do you deal with it? I don't want. That's called idol worship. That's called idol worship, IDLE, where you mean well, but the results are bad because it replaces the core idea of the religion,
which is
being a nation representing God. Parshat Mishpatim, by how you build a society that's just and kind and upright, and representing God as a people, acting in a way that sanctifies God. That's biblical Judaism.
I don't do this almost ever.
Yeah.
I've been here for a long time. Yeah. Either you could Vav K would be enough that you don't have to have Elohim or Elohim without Yud K Vav K.
Yeah.
So what
again? That's a whole hour share.
Okay, but I'm try to work.
I can do another time, but that's a complicated share. Why Chumash uses two names for God? I was saying we solved the problem in Yom Kippur by screaming 7 times.
Coming into religion would not understand that there was
Okay, again, that's an educational issue about how we teach Chumash,
but we
etc.
want to learn that.
Okay,
now here.
but it's a topic for a different. It's a topic that requires an hour share to deal with. That's all.
So when we try to work on it.
Okay, but not now. It's all.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine. Point taken. Now, what I want to talk about to solve the problem, I want to talk about ideal worship, which you understand what I mean. You think ideal worship is the ideal way to serve God. Okay? I'm going to talk about worshiping ideals. Idea or even ideal worship, as opposed to you'll expand with an adjective or a noun. Yeah. As ideal, we'll deal with that in a minute. Now we got to get to work. Now, if I look at that pasuk I just read, don't make out of me gold and silver objects. Instead, what? Mizbeach adama taseli, afalo sforno. Keep it simple. Means I don't need fancy objects. If you want to serve me, a nice, simple earthen mizbeach. Want to be fancy? Avanim, fine, but not hewn stones. None of this Herodian stuff. Just simple. Basically, keep it simple. Now, I want to give an analogy again. Sorry for all my marriage analogies, but it's like saying we got married. I don't need jewelry. Just be a good husband. I don't need anything fancy. Now, if you bring me a gold necklace, I'm not going to throw it out. You follow? That's wonderful, but I don't need that.
No wife has ever said.
Okay. People in movies sometimes. No, just be. I don't need the fancy stuff. Got it? Now, but that doesn't mean you can't do it. I'm just trying to understand Aaron. You understand? I hope you get my analogy. Okay. Is God saying it's forbidden or I don't need it? But if you want to, fine. I think it's an easy way to misunderstand the psukim here, because it sounds like because it's followed by I don't need fancy stuff, golden salve. It's just following. Sforno says something very similar. Just mizbeach adama is enough. Now, after Chet Egel, if I follow Chazal, God realized, they need the gold. you need something. You need a fancy shul, and sort of God gives into human nature. But that's a different discussion again.
Why does he use the word Elohei?
What?
In other words, why does it say Elohei Chesed Elohei?
Yeah. So that fits more than that. That's going to be already ideal worship that you're going to turn. You're going to turn Kesef Esav into a god. But by making golden images of me, your connection to me would be based on financial gain and things like that. But I'll show you later a pasuk in Yeshayahu talks about it, where basically these objects, where all of a sudden gold is a beautiful thing, but the object becomes the goal instead of a tool to remember God. But either way, the idea of making a golden image to represent a god sounds like God said no, but in a reserved way where I can understand maybe it means other gods. You follow? It could be God said. It could be God. It could be I could read this and understand it. Don't make other gods made out of gold or God of gold. But for me, it's fine. There could be another way to explain what I'm just going to do. So that's the first thing. Now, the next thing we have to do in Parshat Mishpatim is when all the laws are over. In Perek Chav Gimel Pasuk Chaf. Listen carefully. We're going to play Clue. Remember the game Clue? Okay.
Put it in the library with it.
Okay. Pasuk Chaf, have it? In Perek Chav Gimel? Okay. Now, in this whole unit, who's talking to who? God's talking through Moshe to tell Bnei Yisrael. In other words, God's talking to the Jewish people. Remember first all the Mishpatim? And after all the laws, ending with, Lot Flashag Dibechadimo, now he's going to give them a promise. Listen to this promise. Hine onochi sholech lechem et Eliyahu hanavi. Oh, wrong thing. That's where it's coming from. Hine onochi sholech malach lefanecha, nishmorcha b'derech ulavecha el hamakom asher chinoti. God's talking to the people, saying, "What am I going to do? I'm going to send a malach lefanecha, a malach to meet you." Now, is it a malach or a malach? I mean, is this someone human? Or is this something with wings, on your calendar you got for the funeral home? They still do that in America. They do that, don't they? Yeah. The funeral home always makes calendars. Not sure why, but that's what they did.
It sounds like there's something with wings because Moshe is already there. Moshe is the leader, but so it sounds like.
Yeah, the question is this: who? So we have to play Clue. Who's this malach? This malach is someone. God's going to send a malach to lead you to bring you where? El hamakom asher chinoti. Which is a nice way of saying the land of Israel, but I got it ready for you. It's a beautiful description of land of Israel. I got this land ready for you, for our honeymoon kind of idea. Now, Hishamer mipanav, this malach, beware, be careful. Ushma b'kolo, obey him. Why? Al tamerbo. Don't disobey him. Don't rebel against him. Why? Ki lo yisal pishechem. I'm going to send a malach who's going to lead you to Israel and help you conquer it. We'll see in a minute. But you better obey him. You better listen to him, and you better not disobey him. Now, is this a malach with wings or a person?
Person.
It sounds more like a person who can talk.
Why? Because Shemata.
It could be, but I can entertain the thought of something you have to listen to, and he can forgive you. If you obey him, kim shema tishma b'kolo, v'asitet kol asher daber. If you listen to what he tells you, and hence do what I'm telling you to do, then what I do for you, your enemies will be my enemies, your adversaries will be my adversaries. Meaning what? If you obey my shliach, okay, I'll use Chabad terminology. I'm going to send you a shliach. Remember sholech malach, to lead you. He's going to tell you how you have to behave, what you have to do. You obey him. You obey him, he'll help you conquer the land. Disobey him, he won't be able to help you. In fact, he won't forgive you. He's going to be strict. So follow him, you're in good shape. Don't follow him, you're in big trouble. Okay, now listen carefully. Ki elech malachi lefanecha. What's that mean? If this malach will lead the way to where? To the land of Israel.
That's an assumption.
Yeah. Well, read the next line. That's almost all the 7 nations. A short one, but don't worry about that later. But this malach, basically, in a nutshell, what's God saying? I'm sending you a malach to conquer the land of Israel for you. You just better listen to him. But he'll help you conquer your enemies. And when you do that, what will happen? When you conquer your enemies, lo tishtachveh Elohem b'lo tovdem. Don't worship their gods. Instead, what? Instead, destroy them. Okay, and don't act like them. Like I said, just wipe out all the places of idol worship. When you take over land, no remnants. Just wipe out all the idol worship because it'll lead you astray. Instead, who should you serve? Serve your God, and then he'll bless your land. He'll bless your food, your water, and you won't be ill, and there won't be miscarriages. And you'll live a long life, and I'll help you defeat your enemies. I'll send the tzira. You follow all these promises. Now, who could this malach be?
Moshe.
Yeah. Why would Moshe be a good candidate? Remember what we said? Kim shema tishma b'kolo v'asita kosher daber. This is a malach who speaks to you, but when he speaks to you, it's God speaking to you. Moshe would be the. Now, has Moshe ever led them in war before?
Sure.
Okay. And who beat the Egyptians?
Well, actually,
By being Bashem Moshe Avdo. But Moshe did that. Moshe. Yeah. But now, what did Moshe do to show everyone it's not me, it's God? Before he did a miracle, he took his matem with his hand. Remember, Moshe put up his hand up and holding the matem. He split the sea. He did all the plagues with the matem in his hand. So, would it be logical to assume that when you hear this, it's Moshe Rabbeinu? Yes. Now, does it have to be? He might have wings. It could be. But there's logic enough to think that this might be Moshe. There's enough evidence in plain clue that Moshe is a decent candidate. He's in the polls, he's 80% already.
Yeah, but who else would be, he has somebody competition with him, or this is it?
It could be. I'm saying God's making a promise there right after the 10 Commandments. And I'm saying it's only logical. I'm not saying you can't, it could be someone else. By the way, later it becomes Yeshua, if you read Sefer Yeshua. Or Malachim's Yeshua, whatever it is. But God's saying, I'm going to send someone to help you conquer the land. And it only makes sense that people might have thought that it's talking about Moshe Rabbeinu. And they heard this right after the 10 Commandments.
And what's Kilo Isale Pishachem?
What?
Kilo Isale Pishachem.
He won't. If you mess up, he won't forgive you.
What does that mean? The Moshe will do what?
He won't forgive you. It means he'll punish you. But on behalf of God. I'm not sure what it means, but it's very. I mean, later on, after he breaks the luchot, the second luchot, no say Avon b'fesha. That we're going to switch the midot around. But he'll be a strict leader. I'm going to give you a new Ramatkal, and he's going to be strict. I mean, when I did the army, if you didn't wear your hat, everyone had to wear a beret. And if you didn't have your beret on when Raful was Ramatkal, and he held being strict like that's going to kick the army. He started with your kippah, with your I don't know if you remember those days. Remember Raful when he was Ramatkal? Even I'm older than you already. Okay, it's his whole shita was army needs discipline. So it starts at the very beginning, discipline. There's a logic in midat hadin. That's all. Does it work? That's something else. Now, because what happens is people are so into discipline, they don't know what it means to be a soldier because they don't think for themselves and just become. Yeah. Now, which is a beautiful analogy of what happens in religion as well when you're too strict. Now, back to so that's source number 2. Now, then Moshe goes up the mountain, remember? And this leadership group, we read this before. What do they see? They have a vision of God. They see the bottom of his feet. Remember? Who was that? Aaron, Nadab, Abihu, and 70 elders. They had this vision of God, but whatever it is, they saw the bottom of his feet. Okay. And now that's the first time it came in Perach Abdalad. Again, we'll read it in Perach Abdalad, Pasuk Tet. Vayal Moshe, Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and 70 elders. Vayiru et Elohei Yisrael, they saw God of Israel. And Tachat Raglav, the bottom of his feet, were this brightest thing, and that's what they saw. Then, Pasuk. Now we're in Perach Abdalad, Pasuk Yudvet, and these now we're going to get mamish to the story. V'yomer Hashem el Moshe. God tells Moshe Rabbeinu after Parshat Mishpatim and the ceremony and the whole thing.
Which pasuk here?
Pasuk Yudbet, in Perach Abdalad. In the cutout, it's L. It's not important for now. Okay, now what happened? God come up the mountain. The Yesham, be there, there. I'm going to give you the tablets and the Torah and the mitzvah, whatever they are, which I'm writing for you to teach them. Moshe goes up with Yeshua. Listen carefully. Stay here until when? Until I come back. Got it? Who's your babysitter? Aaron and Hor. Why did I say babysitter? Because what's a babysitter do? Gives you meals, takes care of your food, you need a Band-Aid. Questions? The babysitter doesn't decide where you're going to college, or where you're going to summer vacation, or where. And no, you'll deal with day-to-day issues, not major movements.
There were also no feminine people in this whole until later on.
Yeah, but I'm just using it. Yeah.
You see it giving them milk, and you pat them down, and you sleep with them. That's more what was once a woman.
But basically, Aaron and Hor are a Band-Aid until Moshe comes back. Agreed? Then Moshe goes up the mountain. And take a look now in Pasuk Yud Zayin. The people see Moshe going up the mountain to a ball of fire. And what does Chumash tell the reader? Moshe was there for 40 days and 40 nights. We know that. Rashi knows that. Rashi assumes they know that, but Chumash doesn't assume that. And they have no idea how long Moshe is going to be gone for. Understand? Because Moshe didn't tell them. What did Moshe say? I'll be back when? When I come back.
Did he say 40 days?
No, Moshe didn't say 40 days. That's key. You have to read this without Rashi. Look here. What did Moshe say? Moshe tells the people, Vaskinu Amar, right? Stay here until we come back. Any questions? Go to Aaron and Hor. In the meantime. You'll see why I call them babysitters in a minute. Now, let's say Moshe doesn't come down for 100 years. Are they going to wait 100 years? Yeah. Would they wait one day?
Yes.
Okay.
They didn't.
No. Would they wait a whole year?
Maybe.
Would they wait 2 days?
No.
Okay. Would they wait 6 months? Would they wait a week? You see where we're going? Somewhere between a week and a year, right? What conclusion will they reach? If Moshe doesn't come back after a month or two, what conclusion will they reach? He's not coming back. And what would be a good reason why he's not coming back?
He's dead.
Give me a might be dead. Maybe he ran back to Midian again. He ran away before. Maybe he found a Nisha Kushit or something. No. Ask Miriam. That was a conspiracy theory. What? Maybe. Like Eliyahu. Got it? No, because Moshe didn't say how long he's going for, and God didn't tell Moshe either. And by the way, Moshe doesn't come down because 40 days are over. God tells Moshe to come down because the people are sinning. Had they not sinned, he would have been there longer, maybe. It just so happens to be 40 days because that matches the flood story. And it's a magic number in Chumash, but that's a different topic. It has to do with Elohim and Yud Kei Vav Kei. But now, just for the fun timeout, Yud Kei Vav Kei goes with 40, Elohim goes with 7. The magic numbers of Chumash down to that's just the teaser. But it's such an awesome book, Chumash. We have to study it, that's all. Now, let's go. Okay. Because of the flood story, you have the 40 days and 40 nights, you have 7. Because the flood story is a mini Har Sinai story. It's a mini Chet HaEgel story. We'll see. Now, let's get back to our story. Sorry about the break. I got to get my thought back. I'll do a review. What I'm trying to explain is that the people have no idea, and Moshe has no idea how long he's going out for, but he's never been gone for more than a day or two. He goes up and comes down. So it makes sense they wait a week or two. And after a week, who should they go to? And what's Aaron say? Wait. And after 2 weeks? Wait. After 3 weeks? Right? Sooner or later, what conclusion will the people reach? He's not coming back. I don't want to say he's dead, but he's not coming back. And what's the proof he's not coming back? He's not back. Understand? Now, as a nation, assuming Moshe Rabbeinu is not coming back, what are our options as a nation? Do we go to? I'll go nowadays. Right? Do we make a peace? What are our options as a nation? Forget who's the leader. I'll leave leadership out. As a nation, no matter who our leader is going to be, what major decision do we need to make? What are our options as a nation?
Where are we going?
Who's going to lead us?
So I could stay where we are, or
Go to Eretz Yisrael.
go to Eretz Yisrael, or go back to Egypt. 3 options, right? I can go back to Egypt. I can stay where I am, and go to Israel. Now, what's the downside of going back to Egypt?
Pharaoh's still there.
Been there, done that. We have to give all money back. They've been there, done that. There's a reason not to go back, even though a lot of people do want to go back. But it's an option, isn't it?
But the army's dead.
What do you call it?
The Egyptian army.
Yeah, but now they just listen to the news. Okay, we wiped them out, and there's more than we started with. They're a spontaneous generation with our enemies. What can you do? I thought I would stay away from politics. Now, so we could go back. It's an option, or we can go to we can stay where we are. Is that an option? Come on, you follow? That's boring. Forever? You follow? How about going to Israel? That's an option, right? It's a serious option. In fact, that was our plan. But if we go to Israel, what's the danger of going to Israel? To this day, there's other people living there. And what do you have to do? You have to conquer the land. Now, is it easy to conquer the land? There's fortified cities, that's the spice later on. Conquering Israel is not going to be easy. And what do I need? I need B-52s. I need B-5, B-2s. What do they call now? I need, I didn't say American help. I need military assistance, don't I? I need something, I need a superpower, or superpowers to what do you call it? To defeat, no. Now, did God promise a superpower to come help them conquer the land? Yeah. Malach, right? I need a malach. Who were they assuming was a malach? Moshe, right? But he's gone. What do they need? They need another malach to do what? To conquer the land with superpowers, right? Now, just go to Parak Lamed Bet now. It's right in front of you. Remember we read remember we saw this psukim? I have it on the source sheet also. Yes. Yeah. Look on the source sheet in B, the last line, ki elech malachi lefanecha, etc. Okay, now let's go to Parak. Now it's on the source sheet also in the bottom of B. What happens in Parak? The beginning of the story. Okay, Vayara what's that mean?
People saw. They realized.
They saw nothing.
They realized.
You see what I mean? You see my point? To see doesn't mean to see all the time. To see means to realize. Right? They saw that what? Ki boshesh Moshe l'redi minahar. Boshesh means he's delayed. Remember Sisro's mommy looking out the window? Remember she wrote the bar by heart?
Yeah.
What was she was waiting for her hubby to come home. What question did she ask? Madua bosheshu lavo? If you know, did she have to learn that in high school? Memorize it maybe? No. Remember Moshe lavo? But she has a good reason why. He's having fun. Be down your own. If you know by heart, fine. If not, you'll read it.
We read this Howard 2 weeks ago.
What? Yeah, that's why you should remember it. That was a little X-rated, that line. Now, but Yaham, I'm saying, what happened? Come down from that. Vaykelam Aharon. Why an Aharon? He's their leader, right? Kum aselenu Elohim asher yachol lefanenu. They don't say Kum aselenu Elohim, full stop, right? Look at the wording. Kum aseh Elohim asher yachol lefanenu. It's on the source sheet also, in case you That's why I have it highlighted. Okay. Where do we have that phrase? Asher yachul lefanenu. What did God promise? Hinenu shelach malach lefanecha. Kelech malachi lefanecha. I need. Isn't that? Do you agree with me that I can't read the story without that in the background? That at least agree with me. You can argue how to interpret it, but it's going back to that malach. And that's now I got my title, The Hoofs of the Golden Calf in Parshat Mishpatim. If you got my title now. Now, what do they want? They don't want a different God. What do they want? They want a B2. A B. What is it? B2 now or B52? It's a B2 now. It used to be a B52. That's World War. That's a. But now it's a B2. Right? They need.
They don't ask for a malach. They ask for Aseh Lanu Elohim. Where are you getting malach?
From Parshat Mishpatim, Asher yachul lefanenu.
But why do you interpret? To me, it sounds like make us a God.
That's a powerful question. Because what's Elohim mean?
A power.
I read a book about a Ruach Elohim Rachefet al Pnei Hamayim. You know what some Parshim say like Radak? It's a powerful wind. Elohim Adirim. Now Elohim also means power. That's for sure. Judges can be called Elohim in Parshat Mishpatim. Elohim is a power. And what's a Mate Elohim, by the way? Is it God's staff or a powerful staff? Doesn't Moshe have a Mate Elohim? Have we had a Mate Elohim before? In Chumash? What was the last battle we fought? Have we ever, Kriyat Yam Suf God did all the fighting. Did we ever fight on our own?
Yeah,
Right. And how do we win that war? Who helped us?
Moshe's staff.
Moshe. Moshe's hands or Moshe's staff?
Moshe's hand.
Well, let's read the story, okay? Now look at now. Is it on? It's on the source sheet. Should be. Yeah, maybe not. Okay, so read it. Go to Perek Yud Zayin in your Chumash. Oh yeah, it is. In source D on your Chumash. And in your source sheet, it's source D, but if in your Chumash, even better. We go to war. Vayavad Malek v'lechem yisrael b'refidim. Perek Yud Zayin pasachet. On the source sheet, in the bottom, in the middle of D, the end of D. Okay. Vayomer Moshe. I'm sorry. Yeah. Vayomer Moshe Yoshua. B'chal lanu anashim v'tzei yilachem b'Amalek. Macha onochi nitzav al rosh hagiva umateh Elohim biyadi. What's Moshe hand? Now Moshe isn't holding his hands up. He's not a kid in class with his hands up. What is he? He's holding up a heavy staff. It's so heavy that what's he need? He needs two people to help him hold his hands up. Not because his hands are heavy. His hands are heavy because the Matelim is heavy. Now,
even if you hold something light up, at some point
it's hard, but even harder when you're holding a staff up. But Moshe's holding the Mate Elohim in his hand. Has he ever done that before? That's how he split the sea. That's how he did all the miracles, didn't he?
Stretched out his hand over the sea.
Yeah,
But
The difference between doing this and doing this.
okay, but the Mate Elohim is in his hand. Harimet matcha. It's over. By the way, all through the plagues, every plague, God says, lift up your hand, and Moshe takes his staff. God says, take your staff, and Moshe takes his hand. Just check it out. It's like amazing. But every time it's one or the other. Because I want to make sure you know it's not the Matan, it's not, and Moshe is not Elohim. But why is it important for our story? Because the Matan is a symbol to show the people that it's God and not Moshe.
Yeah, but the psukim focus on the yadayim.
Again, for sure, because yeah.
So it's not that the staff was heavy; it was his
Yeah,
hands were heavy.
but it's introduced that Moshe tells them Matelim biadi. But the people are looking at Moshe's not just if Moshe's hand has the staff in it. Looking at his hand means you're looking at the staff with his hand in it. Remember what people ask? Remember, no, but when you look at it and remember why you're fighting, what your goal is for fighting, and why you're chosen, then God will help you. But again, it's a symbol of God that reminds the people who their God is and what they're fighting for. And they're about like and when you go to war, you need a symbol, don't you? Every legion has that legionnaire thing. Even every football team's got a mascot. Humans, when you go to war, you need symbols. You need a nace, exactly.
It was more common in the olden days. Every army had a flag.
Like, ever see the movie The Patriot? Mm-hmm. If you saw that movie, you get that leader, hold the flag and wave it, and everyone comes and you rally the troops. And being the flag holder in the Civil War, that was like the biggest honor of dying. People were dying to have that honor. Pun intended. At least in the movies. Now, but what happened? But doesn't it make sense? They want to go to Israel. They're Zionists. But they need military help. And who gave it till now was Moshe. I need to replace him for Moshe's military help. Now, and it makes sense. Why wouldn't Aaron agree with it? In fact, it's a good idea. Now, they don't ask Aaron to make another god. They ask him, give us something to lead us to conquer Israel. Now, whose idea is it to make the egel? Let's read carefully now. I'll go back to chapter 32.
Isn't Aaron still on the mountain?
What?
Isn't Aaron still above?
No.
No.
Moshe and Yeshua are on the mountain.
But is he far away up?
No, he's down with the people. He's with the people. He doesn't know either. He didn't say to them, he's coming down tomorrow. Because Aaron didn't have Rashi. What can you do? The people, do you understand? Give me the logic of Chet HaEgel. What I'm trying to get at, God wanted this to happen. God's, how are they going to happen? God's keeping Moshe up there until they sin. Didn't you catch on? Right? No, if you want to check your education system, I'll go back to my gap year programs, is that I can have a great Elosman, like that thing. What happens during Bein Hazmanim Sukkos? When they're not in yeshiva anymore, and they're back in town with their friends from high school. You follow? If you want to test how your education went for the first month and a half, right? See what happens when your Rabbi aren't around, and you're on a weekend. It's such a great analogy. It's exactly what happens. I think. And if you know what happens during Sukkot vacation.
A week of partying followed by 1 day of getting drunk.
Yeah. And writing home, we have an amazing year. Now, by Hanukkah they flip out again. It's okay. Some of them. Now, okay, so let's see what Aaron does now. We're in source E, in Shmot Lamed Bet. Okay? Vayomer Aleim Aaron.
So they want a replacement for Moshe.
No, not just for Moshe. They want a tank. Okay, they want tanks. They want military help. That was Moshe's job up until now. They don't need Moshe the Gavra. They need Moshe the Chefsef. You understand? But notice, I need Elohim. I need power to conquer my enemies.
So Aaron could suggest himself as a replacement.
Who's the leader is irrelevant. Listen, you know what's going to happen later on? When the whole book's over, etc., after the whole, second thing, we have a symbol of God, don't we? What's our symbol of God later on? Made out of gold? The Aron. When we travel to conquer Israel, what leads the way? Vayibin so Aaron, Moshe, Kum Hashem. We said Oivecha, V'nishmis. Okay? V'yavuducha Yamar. The Aron leads him to battle. Now, the Aron has superpowers? No, it doesn't. But when you look at the Aron, you remember why you're fighting, who's you're fighting, and you have to keep the laws. No, the Aron doesn't have powers, but the Aron represents what you're fighting for. He's the insignia. Here's the sign to remember why you're fighting and why you were chosen. And if you're fighting for the right reason, God will help you. If you're willing to keep His mitzvot, but you need symbols. And the Mishkan basically becomes a kosher egel. The Aron is a kosher egel, isn't it? That's all it is. It's built the same way. We collect all the money, the gold and silver. That's why there's such a connection between this and the Mishkan, because you need that symbol, but it's got to be done in the right framework. But so far, what Aaron's doing makes perfect sense. It makes so much sense that God does the same thing. If I keep Chumash out of order like Chazal do, that's what the Mishkan becomes, isn't it? No. So listen to his ideas. So Aaron tells, give us your gold. And he tells him, I have someone for every earring you give, someone's going to give another earring, and there's 48 hours, and we have a goal to reach enough, and it worked. No. It's amazing everyone falls for that, don't they? No.
And it's double. We have to
double it, yeah. Now, Vaikach biyadam, so Aaron takes the gold, listen carefully. Vayatza to bacharet, who does that? Aaron. Vayasehu egel masecha, who makes the egel? It's Aaron from beginning to end. And Aaron believes in God. Believe me, he believes in God, doesn't he? Right. And he means well. And what's he making? A symbol of God that will lead them in battle. Just like Moshe's Mate Elohim led them in battle. I need... Elohim asher yichol lefanenu. You see I'm using the word God? It's a powerful idea. Pun intended. But the people want military help. And it makes sense they want that. And Aaron's making a symbol of that military help. So this symbol of God to them that Aaron suggests is going to lead them in battle, just like later the Aaron does. And what do the people say? But what did they say beforehand? Who took him out of Egypt in a powerful way? Moshe. So who took him out of Egypt? Moshe. I need a replacement for Moshe who took us out of Egypt. Not Moshe the Gavra, got it? Moshe the Hefza? I need to replace him for Moshe, our military power. And therefore, now what's replacing Moshe's military strength? This ego. And that's how they understand it. Now, Aaron wants to make sure they understand why he's doing it. And this is what he does. Aaron. Vayar Aaron, vayibem mizbech lefanav, vayikra Aaron, vayomer chag liyut kevavke machar. Yut kevavke is our God. Remember, they believe in God. Of course they believe in God.
I'm not buying it. He just said that Hashem, he's saying Hashem, and then he's saying, this is that God that took you out of Egypt.
The people are saying
no,
this.
Aaron just said it.
No, the people said that. Vayamru, they said.
Okay, whatever. So that's even stronger. The people are calling this, to me, they're calling this God. And that's the infuriating part
but the opening,
of God that, you're saying, how can the people believe?
But the opening statement was, go back to Pasuk Aleph. What do the people say? Right? They say, why they want him Mishur Chalbanu? Ki zeh Moshe ha'ish. We should have read that Pasuk together in Pasuk Aleph. Ki zeh Moshe ha'ish asher lanu me'eretz Mitzrayim lo yidan me'alo. Who's Moshe to them? The power who took them out of Egypt. I need to replace him for Moshe, not for God. And because how do we get out of Egypt? Moshe and his staff took us out of Egypt. The staff representing God.
It was Moshe who took us out, not this new.
Yeah, but I need something to replacing that function of Moshe.
Moshe for the future.
For the future, not that. Yeah.
Not for the past.
But I need.
This Asher that rules us out in the past.
Yeah, but Moshe. But now I need a replacement for that military power.
Correct.
Okay.
What?
That's leadership. They don't have magic powers. Moshe without his staff is powerless. It's Moshe and his staff that took him out of Egypt.
But
why are they saying Moshe?
Elohim is not God. Elohim is power.
Right, that's why we say Hashem Hu Ha-Elohim.
Okay, he's the powerful, yeah. But even a judge could be called Elohim.
But you're again, the people now are confusing Moshe with God. Saying God, Moshe is the one who took us out of. No, it wasn't Moshe. It was God. But now the people are confusing Moshe.
I agree with you, and therefore Aaron wants to make sure it doesn't happen, and to make sure that this symbol is the symbol of our God who took us out of Egypt. What's he do? He puts an altar in front of it and says, we're going to have a celebration tomorrow for Yud Kei Vav Kei, for our God, for the God, to make sure it's clear. In the Mishkan, what do? What's in front of the Aron? A Mizbeach, right? The Mishkan is the same thing.
What did you just say quickly to make sure
that the people understand that this ego is representing our God who took us out of Egypt? Why an ego? So open up your Chumash to the Haftarah section in the back. And you might have been half asleep, probably asleep, or definitely dozing off, on Shavuos morning, when we read from Yechezkel. Look at the Haftarah for Shavuos, the first day of Shavuos. This is going to be in the back of your book. And it goes by Shkalim and Kodesh. Oh my gosh, Parshat is coming up. That's scary, isn't it? I mean, Parshat Shkalim. It means Pesach's a month or two away. Shabbos Agodo? No. Wait, what happened to? No, it's there. It's got to be there. No, they don't have. Oh my gosh. In oh, your one has it. I can't believe this one doesn't have it. Yechezkel Perek Aleph. In a nutshell, Yechezkel's got this vision of God, and that there's 4 heads, etc. And says for Shavuos, first day of Shavuos. If you remember Yechezkel, I should have put on. I thought it was for sure in your Chumash. Yechezkel has a vision of God, and there's like 4 faces at the end of the thing, and says Vragleim Regel Yeshara, and their feet are straight. That's why we keep our feet together in Shmoneh because of that pasuk. Gives us back problems. And then what happens? The kaf raglehem kekaf ego. The bottom of their feet look like the feet of an ego. It says the kaf raglehem. Okay, kekaf ego. Now, what did the elders see? Aaron, Nadav, and Abihu, and 70 elders at Har Sinai. Tachat raglav. So Chizkuni explains what the leadership saw God, and their vision of God, they saw the bottom of his feet. And when Yechezkel sees God, the bottom of his feet looks like this, like the bottom of a cow, whatever that is. He explains that's why they do it. That's Chizkuni. My Rabbi Ben-Nun has a beautiful explanation. He holds that, I have to share you the story, a little story to understand the story. Everyone ever been to Richmond, Virginia? No one's ever been in Richmond? Okay. It's the capital of the South. Never, Grant? Sorry for all the American stuff, but most of you came from America. But Richmond, Virginia, that was the capital of the South. And up until a couple years ago, there were a lot of traffic circles in Richmond. And every traffic circle, there was another general from the Civil War.
Which side?
Southern side, of course. They're the heroes, right? But it's not a pesach. Every general is sitting on a horse. No, Thurman, whatever. General Thurman, General Grant. Grant. They didn't like him. General Lee, yeah. Rabbi, he was the best. But they're all sitting on horses. Now, got it? Now, then all of a sudden, there's all these movements, and that's they were pro-slavery. All these people. So remember what happened?
They tore them all down.
They cut them. They tore them all down. I had a great question when I heard about it. I said, I understand did they cut down the horses also? I asked. Oh, it's a great question, isn't it? What did the horses do wrong? No. Why did I bring that now? You understand there's a pesel of a general, but a general's sitting on a horse. Why? Because that's what generals sit on. Now, in ancient times, go to every museum. There's always gods like little. You've been to museums, okay? And all the gods are sitting on something, not on a horse, but on a cow, on a calf. Okay? There's the pedestal the gods sit on is usually on some type. Usually it's a cow or an ox or something like that. But every god sits on a pedestal, but they're all sitting on a pedestal, which is usually a cow or an ox or something like that, animal. Now, if I have a god who is invisible, how do I represent an invisible god? I have a pedestal with nothing on it.
No, just
Got it?
empty animal.
So what's he doing? How do I make an image of a God that can't be seen? I have a pedestal with nothing on it. Right? I'm not sure if he's right, but it's an awesome explanation. And now what happens is people start worshiping the pedestal. because what it represents, especially if it has power. Now, that was just a side point. But whatever he's doing, Aaron means, that's clear that Aaron believes in God, and Aaron means well, and Aaron wants to lead him to Israel, and he wants him to believe in God. And what did we do at Har Sinai? Remember we made the Kiddush? We read that last time? At Har Sinai, we had a Kiddush, didn't we? Olot and Shlamim. And we saw God, we ate and we drank. And we had a learn-a-thon, the whole thing. Now look what happens next.
But you can also argue Aaron wants to save his own neck.
It could be, but that's in Haaretz. Yeah. I mean, when you're out to get people, I'm trying to make Aaron look good. And by the way, he gets promoted, doesn't he? And no one ever says he sinned. He meant well. Try parenting. You mean well. Remember, no good deed goes unpunished? Mm-hmm. That's a clown running anything in life. He got angry because it did, but he meant well. He was bitanef. He says God was bitanef with Aaron. I mean, with Moshe and with Aaron. But that comes in the 40th year when we're looking back and taking responsibility for what went wrong instead of blaming other people, because they were good leaders, Moshe and Aaron. I mean, they're saying that, without getting political, but they take responsibility because their generation failed. What can you do? And they lost their jobs. They meant well, but they weren't fit for the people. That was the people's fault. Anyway, back to inside. What was I reading? What's Aaron doing? Perak Lamed Bet. What's it say? What happens? Wait, we're going to run out of time. Oh my gosh, it's late. I spent too much time on my analogies. I'm going to miss my point. Okay. What happens next? Okay. Aaron builds his Mizbeach Lefanav, and he says, Chag Hashem Machar. V'ashkibu Baboker, just like at Har Sinai. V'yalu Olot, v'yizbechu Zvachim, to who? To God. There's a Mizbeach L'Hashem, isn't it? They did the same thing as Har Sinai. They're repeating Mamad Har Sinai.
Right in front of the Egel, so it looks...
The Egel representing God, yeah. It could be easily misunderstood. What?
If he's putting this Mizbeach in front of the Egel, then doesn't it look like you're davening to the Egel?
Well, if we put his back in front of the Aron, that's looking like davening to the Aron.
I understand, but...
So I would cover it with the cover. If I was me, I would cover it afterwards, so we shouldn't think that. Oh, that's the Mishkan. Okay. I just gave away another share. Because every God has a Mizbeach in front of it, but they're in the open. Okay? Our Mizbeach, we have a symbol of God. You have to have a symbol of God. But you can't see him. He's there, but you can't see him. It's so awesome, the Mishkan. And the Mishkan is named after the covering. It's about covering. Because a God that's there that can't be seen is exactly our God. Now, back to where are we? Okay, that's the key. You understand? It's called a contrasting parallel, and there's nothing funny about that. That was supposed to be a joke. Like, come on, you name it, they did it. And tzchok is behavioral, isn't it? Now, Chazal say tzchok, you name it, they did it. Avodah Zorah, Shvichus Damim, what do you call it? Arayas, the whole thing. What I'm getting, that's why I use my Bein Hazmanim Sukkos analogy with teenagers. They went back to remember, they were immersed in Egyptian culture. If you remember Yechezkel, if you remember Chazal. Right? Am Yisrael has been living hundreds of years in Egyptian culture. They were on this spiritual high. Moshe is gone, and they're back to their old ways again. Notice, how do you party? Aaron makes a party. What happens at the party? Go to a nice Jewish wedding. I'll help you find that. You ever been to a Jewish wedding recently? So there's the first dance and the second dance. In the first dance, there's the mechitza, right? And the rabbis are there. The Jews. After the meal, all the rabbis are gone. The second dance, America. You follow? It's already, the music's different, the dancing is different. You follow? And it shows you the culture. That's when the booze comes out and the drinking. It all started with the Simchas Mitzvah, but how someone spikes the drink, it gets out of hand, which is a sign of that. What does God realize? When Aaron makes this party, what gets God angry? It's nothing theological, it's behavioral. Because what does God see? He sees the behavior. They're not ready yet to be God's people. I need Hoofs if I'm going back to my, if you know my yeshiva analogy. I apologize. I've just been teaching 18-year-olds in yeshiva and Gap Year my whole life, so those are my analogies. Now, listen to what God says. By Daber Hashem Moshe Lemor, Lech red ki shichet amcha. What shichet mean?
Corrupted.
Have we ever had that word before?
Yes.
Remember the flood? You know how many flood analogies there are to this story, not to mention 40 days and 40 nights? Okay? Now, was that Avodah Zarah? No, what was that? That was Hamas. That was, what do you call it? That was bad behavior. Okay? And that's this wild, bad, evil behavior. You follow? Beidom l'chavero stuff. Okay? So min haderech asher tzivitiv. I'm sorry. The one you took out of Egypt, to your people. You go later, okay? So min haderech asher tzivitiv. What was the derech God want? Remember doing tzedek u'mishpat? That was derech Hashem. Their behavior is bad. On top of that, what did they do? Asun ego masecha. They made an ego representing me. A masecha is representing. Vayishtachavu lo. Vayizbuchu lo. Got it? And they said, Elo lech Yisrael asher luchem eretz Mitzrayim. What I want to claim is, what are they worshiping? They're worshiping their tanks, the B-50, the B-2. What I'm trying to explain, I hope I don't get in trouble for this. But what's important to them, they believe in God, but the relationship with God is consumers. God's working for us. And why are we so happy about this God? We have military strength now. We can take over the Middle East now with our great army. Thanks to who? You ever see Raiders of the Lost Ark? That explains everything, isn't it? Why do we want the symbol of God? Is the symbol of God going to remind us why we're chosen and what we do when we conquer the land? Or the symbol of God is how powerful we are and how amazing we are and how great we are and how these miracles we can do. And when they have this, we have a replacement for Moshe's miracle mateh, the way they celebrate shows God, they understand it shows God their religious immaturity of understand why they're chosen. And that's why the parallel to the flood is so important. Because God was unhappy with their behavior, and we have to start over again. Now, God says, Moshe, let's start over again. Remember, God told Noach, let me start over again, and Noach says, go for it. Do you remember we got my joke? Go for it, never mind. But Moshe davens, remember? And then we need a whole new we need a whole new contract. That's already destroyed with the second Luchot. But listen to what God says. And then one more line. What's God saying? Next. What conclusion does God reach? What's an Am Kshe Oref? That means they can't change. They don't change. A sip naked perfect can't change direction. God was hoping after the last 2 months of seminar, they'd be ready. After a whole year of all the miracles, they'd act better. What happens? Their behavior is back to good old Egyptian behavior. They've had it. Got it? But now allow me and let me wipe them out. Just like the flood, right? And then Moshe davens, you can't be so strict. Understand? And then listen what he says. Jewish lawyer. What's he saying? Listen, you're right. They've been really bad. But if you destroy them, who's going to look bad? You're going to look bad because you claim to be their God. They're representing you. You took them out of Egypt. And what would the Egyptians say? You can't do it. And on top of that, you made a promise, remember? To give them the land. So he's arguing, not that they're okay. You say, I agree, their behavior is terrible, but give the kids a break. You follow? Okay? Now, we say the same thing in davening. What's our strategy? First we say, we're bad, remember? Etc. And then we ask God, help us. Why? Remember after Shemach Hagula, Atano Shimcha Asem Hashem Leman Shemecha, Bavor Kvod Shimcha, V'Sfat Avadim Kiravu. So our whole strategy in davening is, because we're your people, give us a break even when we misbehave, because we can learn from our mistakes. Now, for that to work, God has to be a forgiving God. So to redo the covenant, there's Moshe going to break the covenant to save them, and we have to go from Din to Rachamim. That's a whole different. That explains the second. I'm trying to explain the Hoofs of the golden calf story. And then God decides, okay, I'm not going to kill them, but they can't represent me. So basically, Brit Sinai is broken, but Moshe says, keep Brit Avot. And Moshe says, without Brit Avot, we can't then. Now, in the story, when Moshe comes down, I want to read one last thing, and then because my time's up. Look what happens when Moshe comes down. Pasuk Yud Chet. Pasuk Yud Zayin. In Perek Lamed Bet. Vayishma Yoshua et kol ha'am b'ri'o. Yoshua hears the people making noise, like a loud party. B'ri'o is noise, with wordplay with the word ra. It sounds like a war. And Yoshua is a general, we don't want to miss the war. What's Moshe tell him? That's not the sound of war, winners and losers. Remember, whoa, back and forth. What is it? It's just a wild party. You ever hear a party? You ever in movies in a bar? Oh, that loud noise sound, that's the sound of a wild party. That's what happens. What's he see? They go and they're dancing around it. They're serving. You understand what they're worshiping? Not the symbol of God, not the symbol with luchot and a brit and a sefer Torah and laws of how to serve God, but a symbol of power, of military power, and that's what they're excited about. Because now tomorrow they're going to win their wars. What I'm trying to explain is that if your whole relationship with God is a God working for you and winning your battles, but with no intention or desire to become a nation doing tzedek mishpat and representing God and being kind and nice, and your only goal of God on your side is because He can help you win wars. Okay? And when you celebrate your victory with a military parade, okay? and your God is the God who fights wars for you. Remember Hashem Mishmachama? Remember that song they sang when they split the sea? Pay attention next time you daven. Listen to the theme, the military theme of Shirat Hayam. The first half is all about, look what we did to the Egyptians. Everything military. After, then look what we're going to do to the Canaanites. Everything is military. It's just understandable. They've been oppressed for all these years, without an army, they've been thinking, now we get to have an army. I hope I'm not being too mean. But you got my point?
That's what happened in World War II.
That's what happens. That's what happens with every war, where God's on your team, but you want God. God's working for you as a military power. Let me just finish up because I get 1 minute left. I'll take questions afterwards. And then listen carefully. And Moshe breaks the luchot, etc. He takes the ego and burns it. Listen carefully. Listen to Chafal of Chabet. Vayomer Moshe el Aaron, Ma asa lecha mazeh ki hebeit alav chata gdola. You didn't sin, but what? You caused him to sin. Now Aaron had a great idea, didn't he? Had it? But it went bad. Remember, no good deed goes unpunished. Aaron meant well. It just didn't work. If you ever do hadracha, you try to do pull-out with your kids, or try babysitting, it doesn't work. You had a great idea, and the kids go wild. Why? Because that's behavior. Who does Aaron blame it on? Aaron said, "Don't blame me. It's your fault. You didn't come back." Look what he says. Okay, I'm sorry. Vayomer Aaron, al yichaf adoni, atei yadata tamazei kibarahu. You know the campers. They're bad. Are you surprised? Are you surprised about how they're behaving? Okay. Got it? It's your fault. You didn't come back. I had to do something. You can't do nothing. Okay. And it made this egel, and that's what happened. Okay. Now, Chafei. I'm quitting with that. Vayar Moshe. You see the word Vayar is all through the story. Bayar, the people see that Moshe is not coming back. God sees Renam Kshe'oref. Aaron sees, and now what? Now Moshe sees. Bayar Moshe et ha'am ki parohu. What's paro mean? Wild. Which is great wordplay with Egypt, right? With Paro. Paro. Who caused them? Ki pro Aaron. Paro's right there, isn't it? You see the Egyptian culture behind it? Then Moshe wants to, who's responsible for spiking the drinks? Who's responsible for changing the music? Now, in every party, there's the troublemakers. Who do we punish? Remember? The troublemakers, got it? And the rest of the people came to the party, but remember, who started this? Who are the troublemakers? That's the 3,000. Who are the followers? The rest of the people. And that's what Moshe has to find out. We have to have a beit din and find who's, and even if it's your relative, you have to kill them. But that's already the rest of the story there. All I'm trying to show you is that, again, I'm not trying to explain every single detail of the story. I'll just say, if I want to study the story of the golden calf, I have to begin in Parshat Mishpatim. Because, Lotas Eloi Chesed V'Lahav, by the way, Moshe goes to God when he davens, and Moshe says, Ana chatam mesachata, asula mehlei zahav. Moshe goes, the people sinned, I agree, a misdemeanor. Asim elei zahav, not elohim acherim. Remember what you said? No, they didn't break the first commandment, the second commandment. They broke Elohei Zahav, which they misunderstood. Moshe, as a lawyer, says agrees they're guilty for what? For a misdemeanor, not for a felony. Right? And God gives in. Remember, Moshe's a lawyer, isn't he? In this story, don't tell me he's not a Jewish lawyer. He's awesome. We learned from. He knows how to daven also. But part of davening is one could argue that davening means to argue. That's what it means, isn't it? Tefillah is to argue. Moshe is arguing with God for God's sake. Remember? It's your people. I'm trying to help you. Save us so we can help you. Save us so we can turn this. I can do post-traumatic. I can learn from the experience. I can learn now how to make a symbol of God but make it meaningful. Mishkan, you with me? So again, all I'm saying, there's so many things in Parshat Mishpatim. The idea of seeing a vision of God, the leadership. Who these Kohanim are. Aaron, Nadav, and Abihu, this leadership group. Moshe going up, and what a symbol of God is, an idea of the celebration of Har Sinai. Now you understand my title? Yes. The Hoofs of the golden calf, that's supposed to be a joke, in Parshat Mishpatim. So again, I'm not saying this is the only way to understand. I'm trying to find a fine line why God's so angry as an educator. God's angry because it's not working, but not because it's idol worship, IDOL, that's for sure not. Maybe not even idol worship, IDLV, but ideal worship. Got my point? What ideal? Military power.
And it wasn't idyllic.
What? It wasn't idyllic, yeah. And how are we going to fix it? I need another 6-month seminar. I need another Chorovzman. And can we follow God's instructions? Can I make a proper symbol of God that will be educational? Can we do it together and build it right? And at the center is going to be a symbol of God out of gold, but with laws and a contract and meaning. It explains the Mishkan to the T, yeah.
What I see here.
I know that we have to leave. I'll take questions now. Just if we have to leave, it's fine.
Something that I look at society, especially put your machine back. Years of socialist inculcated education, they were taught not how to think, but what. Critical analysis in American society.